In this video, we're going to talk about the union tool. Union is similar to merge. It's actually a bit more complicated. The outputs are interesting and potentially quite useful if you would need to find very subtle bits and pieces of information about the intersections between various different polygons. So I'm going to run it twice to show you what I mean about things being interesting. But so our tool, as always, located, we want to click on Tools, which will bring up. Let me just close this. Bring up our geoprocessing window. Okay, and Union will be under. I think it's under Analysis Tools and Overlay. And we've got our union tool. Just like always, we could check our information guide. Computes a geometric union of the input features. Okay, a lot of these things, guys, are not very helpful. What does that even mean? All right, so we'll run this a simple and then a complex version to show you what we can get out of a union. So we'll pick grassland and chemical spill. All right, and you'll see what they mean by the geometrics of these two files being intersected. Again, the ranking system is explained, I think, in a previous video. Let me just make sure. Yes, I was just checking to make sure that the priority, the ranking system was explained in a previous video. It is, but let me just go over it real quick again. The idea here is if we go ahead and rank stuff, we can preserve coordinate systems considered with a higher accuracy. I don't particularly think this is a necessary feature to exploit for our purposes, mainly because if we were going to do a good solid analysis here, we want to make sure before we start running these tools that everything is in agreement. Okay, so ranking systems aren't necessarily something we really need to worry too much about. Anyway, you see the readout here is pretty simple. We could check through output features. Again, we want to make sure that this is going to your S drive. We could check all features, all except attribute IDs, only feature IDs or all attributes. Let's just go with all attributes and see what happens when it comes out. So this giant sherbet-colored file is our chemical spill union. All right, so let's check our attribute table to see exactly what separate entities we have existing within this blob. So number one, we have, if you look carefully at the turquoise outline, okay, the area to the right of a couple of these different files. This will make sense in a second. This is the chemical spill area. All right, if you think about it as the chemical spill area that doesn't have anything to do with the grassland area. All right, so over here, this area has nothing to do with it. All right, and this area has nothing to do with it. What we could do is go ahead and change the coloration scheme here if we wanted to take a look at these things separately. All right, so we'd say, let's see, where do we want to go here? Here. So single symbol under symbology for chemical spill, we could change it to unique values or something like that. All right. So let's remove all this and we could say what's unique values, name, and then we're starting to get different coloration schemes. Let's see, shape length. There we go. All right, so essentially what we're doing is showing the specific areas. Let's try to make this a little bit more colored better. See, so who's where. Let's do that one more time. Green, that was good. Okay. So this one, our highlighted one, is that apple colored green. Okay, and then we have the sherbet colored one to the far left. That would be our grassland that doesn't have any commonalities with the other two. And then finally, this middle section that would be the formal quote unquote intersect between the two. The important utility here is the union tool is preserving all three of these. All right, and we're creating the quote unquote geometric intersection. This one's pretty easy to understand. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Okay. Where it can get really, really complicated, and I guess you could argue kind of cool, is let me go back to the union tool. Let me toss in one more file. And chemical spill union 2. Make sure again it's going to S drive. And let's go ahead and run this. Make sure we cleared. So this, just with the addition of that third shapefile, we actually end up with, as they say, the geometric intersections, 7 files. So what shall they look like? If we go to the chemical spill union tool here, where are we going here? There we go. The primary symbology, and changing this to unique values like before, and let's change it to something that has a unique value. You can see the quite interesting and complicated relationship that we have developed here just with this addition of the third file. To highlight them out, we've got this area here, the intersection up there, and then this one here coming off to the left, just the file that's left of the grassland. In a somewhat intersection between the chemical spill area, okay, and the buffer. And then we have the intersection of the chemical spill area and the grassland that excludes the buffer. Then we have the intersect of the grassland and the buffer, and on and on and on. We got here the middle section that includes everything. I believe this is chemical spill, grassland, and buffer, part of the intersect of the intersect, or something along those lines. Just with the addition of buffer, guys, it can increase the complexity here. Again, if we're not sure what's happening, we want to be careful with our data usage and picking things to make sure that we're getting the right files out of stuff. Okay, that's generally it for union. The take-home message is we got the geometric intersection. So with intersect, we would have just the middle section. All right, and merge combines everything. All right, and clip removes things. All right, and so with union, we are actually preserving pretty much everything, but we're also looking for all the complex little bits of relationships where these polygons will slice and dice each other. The other thing to add is with a lot of these tools, let me just give you a caution before I finish up this video. So we've got polygon, polygon, polygon. Let me go ahead and try to add the river system. Rivers. Okay, it doesn't like it because it needs them all to be the same geometry, or it'll tell you here all of the input features must be polygons for union because we're looking for geometric intersections. Let me hop back and show you just for completeness sake. Under management, we have let me just merge. If we check the same thing with merge, we could do rivers, and it's going to get mad at me for trying to merge buffers with a point line or a line file. Input features here must be all the same geometry type. So with merge, just like with the previous video, you could merge lines together. I have 15 separate river files for Virginia and North Carolina, and I want them all into one particular type of shape files with different record entries. Cool. Use merge, or but it won't merge line files with polygons or things along those lines. All right. So that's it for union.